So on your website, you talk about some of the things that you're trying to do. And what I really like when you answered my question, what is freedom? You said freedom is through a mindset that we are imprisoned by our fears, our insecurities, our misconceptions about the world. And you wanted to, you make it a mission for you to change the paradigms, the way people think about things in the world. Mm-hmm. Right? Tell me a little bit about that. What are the paradigms? Because you mentioned that there's a couple different types of paradigms. There's two different people who are stuck in the left-right paradigm, and people who know that there is something outside of that, but they don't know how to get there.
Right. So, when I finally figured out what I wanted Mere Liberty to be about, I realized that I had already in many ways, gone through this process of challenging what I call the left-right paradigm. And, we know that as the liberal versus conservative, Republican versus Democrat sort of way of thinking. It's either or. Either you are, for the military, and so you have to support the troops no matter what, or you're, completely against any sort of use of violence, even in self-defense. Like, there's no room for nuance. And so that creates this polarization that we are seeing even now with, these protests and race riots that are going on. It is becoming so polarized. It's, you're either with us or against us. And if there's any discussion of nuance, then you must be fill in the blank. So, what I try and do with Mere Liberty is to talk about these really tough issues from different angles and, really evaluate both sides of an issue and then discuss how, there might be a third or fourth or fifth perspective. And so, I have people who react to my stuff who are definitely caught up in the left-right paradigm. And so they get frustrated with me because they try and, they'll hear me on one issue and sort of paint me in a box. And then they'll hear me on another issue and it's like coming out of left field, no pun intended. But the people who really enjoy reading my stuff are the people who are saying, okay, I know this left-right paradigm is a false choice, but what else is there? And of course, they're asking that question because those questions aren't typically asked. And so I try to ask those questions and at least provide alternative perspectives and encourage people to think about it themselves.
Yeah, what's interesting because we do have this duopoly, right? You're either a red or a blue. Mm-hmm. And as a libertarian, you know that when you're on social media, when you're in discussion, if you're doing your job right as a libertarian, you're going to be upsetting the liberals and upsetting the conservatives at the same time. Yep. But then of course, you want to mix your theology involved in that, so you have the believers and the non-believers. So right there, you have four different perspectives.
Well, and not only that, you do have a left-right paradigm in the church. You do have liberals and conservatives. And the conservatives I actually consider more fundamentalist. In fact, the Orthodox Presbyterian Church was born out of trying to resist and challenge that left-right paradigm. The founder, his name was J. Gresham Machen. He resisted both a liberal view of the gospel and a fundamentalist view of the gospel. And so you still get that left-right paradigm even within the church. It's, you do have the dichotomy between believers and non-believers, but I think even a lot of the problems that we're experiencing in the church today are directly associated with a false left-right paradigm in the church.